All right, we're live again. So this is part 4 of Building with Kevin, where we're building a portfolio site from the first line of code to a point where it's fully deployed, available on the web, and showcasing the work that I've done so far as a developer here. So in this one, we'll be going over the shadow or the text shadow for both pieces of text because the padding is too small where we can see faint line on the top and bottom. So the first thing that we'll do is increase the padding and then have some negative margin on the top for this text and on the bottom for this text, so that it doesn't make it so large, because we want the padding but we don't want the spacing. We already, I believe, have a gap of 0 here, so just the way to make it a lot easier is to put negative margin on the top, negative margin on the top for this text, and then negative margin on the bottom for this text, and then it'll shrink it to a point where the width between the two pieces of text is like we have now. So that's number one thing that we're going to be doing. Number 2 is we're then going to be incorporating on scroll this Kev with Dev, delving deep into web creativity. That will go the same rate down the page, so it's not going to be exactly in line with the moon here, because the moon goes down at a slower rate, 80% of the scroll, but we'll have the text here 100% of the scroll, so it'd be 1 for 1, so it'll just be at the same section the entire way down, and it'll also decrease in opacity, and then it'll hide behind this tree line here, which is the end goal that we're going to have. And then once it hides behind the tree line, it will then get hidden behind this text, and then it will be with the text the entire time, but this rock and sections will just be covering it up until the point where it's at a 0 opacity when you can't see it. And then if we have time, the final thing we're going to go into is we're already moving the text using the transform translate Y for the up and down. So then what we'll do is, to give it a little bit more animation, excitement, we're gonna also add, for this text here and a little bit on the bottom, a transform translate of X. So then when we're scrolling down, this will move down with the opacity decreasing. But if we move the mouse to the left-hand side, the Kev with Dev text will move further than the subtext, but it'll move with the mouse. So depending on where the mouse is, if it's on the right-hand side, the Kev the Dev will move towards the right-hand side, and then if we move the mouse towards the left-hand side, it'll move towards the left-hand side. And then it'll make it look a little bit more 3D, a little bit more interesting, and more interactive as you initially land on the website. So first things first, we want to make sure that the padding is increased on the text and then the margin is decreased. So we'll do 2rem on, oops, not m, 2rem. What'd I just do? There we go. And just the readme is not necessarily right now. So I added 2rem, and then we're going to have negative padding for the first one. So let's do margin bottom, and then negative 2rem, and then heading 2, margin top. Oops, what'd I do here? Oh, okay, gotcha. Ba-ba-da-ba. Hold this back a little bit. I just hit the wrong hotkeys, didn't I? There we go. Margin top is going to be negative 1 rem. Margin top, okay. I don't think the margin top does. Okay, it does. Okay, cool. Let's do 1 and 1. Cool, there we go. So now, if we see the hue, it isn't getting cut off, so there's not a definitive line, which is exactly what we're looking for. And let's just see with different sizes here. Okay, close that. Yeah, if it gets smaller, it's not going to make any difference. It's more just for larger screen sizes here. Yeah, cool. Okay, it looks good. Oops, we don't need that. Let's go like this. Cool, so that's that. That's number 1 thing. And then the second thing that we're going to be doing is making the text here move at the same rate as the scroll. So let's go into our JS. This is just for the loading. Like if we load it, it'll go Kev with Dev, and then delving deep into creativity 0.5 seconds after. So we got 1 and then 2. Oops. And then what we'll want to do here is we'll just temporarily disable or just remove that for now. We don't need that. So then let's add in here. Got the mountain animation, all that. That's the if, that's the else. And then at the bottom here, because that's the if-else statement, we'll then look at the heading text. So heading text, and then we have to select both of them at the same time, so we could just use both. Let's see what the Z index is for. Z index hero text. Okay, so we'll just move the hero text entire section. So we got that. It's a const hero text. It's in a anonymous function. It's not globally scoped. Document query selector, and we'll select it, and then we want to move it every single time it's scrolling, and then we want the bounding client. Perfect. So then we'll do hero text style transform equals, and then translate y, that, pixels. Cool. So now, if we refresh that, translate y, hero text style transform, it's in pixels in here. Bounding client rect is image 4. Image 4 is being used, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So we do that, and then if we refresh, it's not moving. So let's see what that gives us. It's doing all that, it's doing all that. So let's document query selector. Okay, so what we'll do here is console log hero text, and then we'll also console log that as well, because that's not within another function. That's just, yeah, within the single main one. Okay, cool. That's why. So we will just remove this, scroll. Okay, so we got that. Right, it's the Y that we need. So it is this dot Y. So we really need that. There we go. Cool, and then we'll just make this negative, so we could do a let hero text scroll equal this, and then we're going to say multiply times -1, and then we could just do that. Cool. There we go. That looks very shifty. Why does that look so shifty? Okay, that looks more normal. I think it was just because I was doing something with it. Okay, cool, perfect. We'll just slowly fade the opacity after a certain point, so then it's basically done by here. We just want to really make sure. We can also make section 2, index of 2, and this is the index of 1, just to make sure it doesn't show. Index of 2, let's see what this is. This is index of 1, right? Index of 1. But this is the index of 2. Interesting. We'll put the opacity on and then figure it out from there. As long as all displays in terms of window size have this as a 0 opacity by the time it hits kind of here-ish, should totally be fine. And I don't need this anymore. Okay, so let's actually get the blending, because that's going to be a positive number. So let's just get the bounding client Y number, just to see what we're playing around with. Increase that. Okay. And let's make it bigger. So I'm going to say around 300. I want it 100% gone. Because it'd be like this. By the time it gets here-ish, it is pretty much not visible. I could do 400. Let's just see what it looks like on here. Yeah, around 300. Because I don't want it... Like, I could make this second section here. And it's not going into the next one because let's just do, that's not going to work, right? No. What if we just do 1? Okay. What if we make this more? There we go. This says position stack property events that have an effect. Oh, okay. Never mind. So then we could do like position relative. Perfect. So we could just do a, because that's not going to make any difference in what we need it for. Okay, perfect. So now we don't have to worry about opacity, anything. It'll always be behind it because of the z-index. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So now that we have in place, we will then be able to add in our opacity. So then we could make this style opacity. Opacity. And then this will be between 0 and 1. So we could make it... It was at negative and it went further negative. So we could do hero text, okay. Let heading hero text opacity in camel case, and let's make this and then let's do this. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Yeah, that's probably what I'm looking for. Maybe a little bit more. Because then we could just do times 2. I want this ending to be at 1. So we could do 1 minus, because then we could just do, like, for example, times 1 times 2 times negative 2. That would then equal perfect. And then we could just say 100 minus. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, that's at 0. It goes up to, that's 1,000. Okay, so we could just do divided by 100 to give us in decimals. Let's close this. Nope. In 10, that'd be 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80. Okay, so that might be a little bit more what we're looking for here. but it's 0 to 1. So we actually need it like this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we can do 1 minus that, right? Because it's going to start at 1, and it's going to go down. So we could really start it at 1.5 because we want it up for a while, and then we maybe like this. Because we at 1 for a while, 1 for a while. And then it'll start going down quite a bit here. So if we make this more, oops. Okay, because if we make it like 1.5 for opacity, it's still just going to be at 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 8. It's going to go down. It's going to go down. Okay, perfect. So we'll do this at like 4, and then the lower we go, the slower it increases its opacity, and the higher number going to start becoming more opacity, opacity, opacity. Okay. Okay, I think that's the one. And let's just try with the bigger screen, just to make sure that's the one I'm going to go with. And response, remove. Going to start becoming opacity now. Fade, fade, fade. Barely visible. Perfect. Yep, okay, I'm happy with that. So now that we have that in place, the hero opacity, we can then change that to this. We can remove this. And I'll probably, no, I need this in here. And I'll just console log this to see what it looks like here. Cool. So we should be good, good, good. Slowly, slowly. Okay, not bad. And let's see what it looks like on the big screen. Okay. Not bad. And I like the hue here, which is nice. I might even add another one. We'll see. And I could even make it go more orange, which I might do. Like instead of just keeping it black, I might say that for a different day because I already have a list of things I want to get done here in this video, which has been a certain amount of time. 17 minutes. Okay, we got tons of time. Okay, so that's there. Happy with that, because it's not immediately fading 0. Like we have it starting at like 1.5 or something, and then it starts to fade a little bit after you start scrolling, which is nice. And let's just kind of go through our rounds to make sure. Yeah, cool. That looks decent. That looks alright. Yeah, I think it'll look good turning orange. We'll save that for a different day. But I think that would look pretty cool. Cool. And I like how the Nest Hub and the ones look. Yeah, I really like it going underneath. Big fan of that. Cool, so that's there. Let's do Hub Max. Just making sure. Cool, okay, I'm happy with that. So the next thing that we'll do here, and heading text, scroll and opacity animation. Cool, we don't need that anymore, that's done. The next thing that we'll do is on a mouse move, which is not related with this, because this is only on scroll, but what we really want is the mouse move. So we'll do hero text mouse move animation. And this will only be for really the heading here. So we'll do a document add event listener, and we're going to be listening for a mouse move. And then we'll just do a anonymous function. And then let's just make sure console log it's working fine. Working. Ba-da-ba. Working. Why is this all wonky and weird? There we go. Cool. Working, working, working. Cool. So now that we have that in place, we want to get the client Y, so it's going to be the client. So then we'll do let client X, because it's on the X-axis only, because Y is already getting moved. Client I equals E client X. So then console log client X. Perfect. So right now it's like 550 width. If we, okay, perfect, done. So now that we have that in place, we'll want to get the total width of the window. So so we'll do const, but if they move, let's do it as a let. So in case they change the window size and then they move, it's going to change the window size instead of it being a const. But it runs every single time, so it doesn't really matter too much because it'll just run and replace that here. So the first thing that we can do is we want to get the window size. So let window width equals document inner width, and we'll actually get that on top just because I kind of like that form that way. And then we will then do a let middle. We'll just do center px as the center pixels, because we will then, if it's at 0, we want to split this in half and then add it here. So we want to do this plus window width divided by 2. And then once we're in the middle, we should see that console log as 0. Let's see. None. Okay, window width. Does window width work? Let's just see here. Oh, that's why. Is it window? That inner width? There we go, cool. So now this should work. Everything's spelled properly, cool. There we go, so now, oh. What is that? That's at 290. So we're splitting this off. Okay, let's just do a console log, oops. And then we'll say the client X is that console log center that center px, oops, center px is that, and we'll also do the console log of that. Cool. Just get these guys in there as well. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, so if we go all the way to the end, that makes sense because client X window width will not change. Okay, that's good. Client X is basically at the very end, and then center is 288. We want that to be 0. Perfect. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, that's what I had to change. So now, console log, that's going to be 0. We want to translate it either to the right or left side. And that's going to be basically dead center right here. Ish. Cool. So like the furthest we want to go, 700, 7 pixel. Okay, so let's just... And we want to move both of them, but the top one a lot more. So let's get here, and these are const, document, query selector, and we'll just copy and paste this. into 2. Cool. And then from there, we want to push this one more. So let's just do this style transform x. Nope. Transform equals, and then translate x is what we're looking for. And then we'll do this center px for now. We'll change it to something that will have a fraction of this, because 700 pixels is a lot. But we should see the text move, and then we'll just do it with this one as well. That looks off. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. Okay, cool. So 2, 2, 2. Okay. So now it should be like, whoa. Yeah. But it's really wonky and weird. And I'll do the overflow of whatever the parent is, which is this. Oh. Image text container. Let me just see what this image text container. Okay, that should be fine if I put an overflow of it in here. Let's just make sure it's bigger. Why is it still giving us that if the overflow is at 0? Let's also put, because it's absolute, but it doesn't really matter because there's no way that you're going to get that far anyways. Okay, we'll be fine with that because we're going to really heavily reduce the center pixel a lot. So we will then, let's actually bring this here, because that's not really calculations, that's calculations. And then from here, we then want to let main heading movement value heading value, and then we will do that divided by, and it was at like 700 or something, so let's divide it by 10, and then we want to do a sub, and this one will be even more, so let's say like 30 for example, so we'll change that to this, change that to this, and let's see how it looks. I don't like how it's like so laggy, but I think it's because of the, where is it here? Absolute, where is my transition duration? Am I not able to see it here? Oh, transition. Oh, it's right here. But we need that to display it. But the transition for this, so let's try doing this. Because then the transition is going to be for the text and not the entire thing. That looked really wonky. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's just temporarily disable that. I don't need this because it's still impacting it. And it should be a little bit less weird. And I'm going to reduce it a lot as well. So that was 10. It wasn't enough. So let's do 30 and 80. See, now it looks better. And I'm probably going to make that a little bit more. So let's say 25 and 80. There we go. But then the down, cool. That works regardless, cool. On mobile, it's obviously not going to make a whole lot of difference because you can't really have a mouse move on mobile. Not bad. Okay. It would be nice to have an X, so then it's a little bit more interesting, but I'm happy with that for now. I don't want it too much. Cool. Okay, I'm happy with that. I guess that's even. That kind of doesn't look nearly as even if I go this side to this side, but maybe it's just me not looking at it properly. Okay, so that's that. But the challenging thing is when we load, it's not going to give us what we're looking for. So let's try to figure out what we can do to make this not have any transition, but make this have the transition. Because I like having this, but then it makes... Let's see if we do that. Let's load up the site. That'll look good. Okay, I think it was just the... Whoa. Yeah, I might just keep it at that. The transition ease in, I think, is what made it really wonky, because it's slowed. It's like the ramp up is nothing, a lot, and then it kind of ramps up like that. Whereas if you don't put the ease in, it's a lot more fluid, and it makes it look less weird. Okay, cool. Now what we'll have to do is transition that into orange. Like, for example, like this. What was the orange color that we had, that we saved up top here? This right here. So like, let's say we're here. Oh, don't want that. We need the text container. Let's scroll down a little bit. We can probably push this so we can actually see here. Hero image, hero text. Perfect. Color, will this work on here? No, because it's a div, so we need to go... Oh, that's not the right one. There we go. So this is what we're looking for. Oh. Color. There we go. See how that looks nice? Kind of like fades into that. Okay, so we'll do that. But we want to make it subtle, like very similar to the opacity. So this is going to be a little bit tricky because this is the end goal, so we'll have to get these 3 different values. We could also add the opacity here. Okay, so let's do that. So let's just get this, because that's the end color that we want to end off at. Scroll is what we want, and we'll go all the way down here. Heading text scroll. Color and opacity animation. So then we'll just go like this for now. We'll change that. We'll delete that after. Actually, I don't want it right there. We'll just put it there for now. I'm going to do 3 different values. And instead of having the opacity here, like so, and then changing it in here, we're going to put the opacity here. Actually, here, like that. So then the first thing we can do is we'll need the 3 different values. So we'll leave that as is. That one we will change later. So then RGB, so we could do red, and it's not anonymous or it's not a global scoped, but red color, and we could just keep that as black is 000, I think, RGB for black, and we'll just add it up to a point, 0, 0, 0. Easy as. So we can leave that as 0. And then let our G green color equal 0. And then blue, oops. Let blue color equals 0. And then we'll slowly increment them up or down to this color here. We just want to make sure it goes in unison. We'll kind of have to play around with it. Okay, so let's do that, and then we'll say if yeah, we'll have to, if red color is, nope. Yeah. Because we want, it's from starting from 0. We don't want to set a max. And then we can just set because this would be if red is greater than that, then we can just say completed red. Nah, don't love it. And then we'll just say 233. And then we'll have to do that for all of them. And, or, I don't want to create like a whole bunch of if statements. That's not very efficient. But basically I want to say if red color is at 233 or above, we're just going to associate it as 233. If the green color is at 153 or above, we're just going to associate it to 153. Because that's the end goal that we want to get. Opacity we have, but these are going to hit at different times. So we're going to have to put a slight multiplier on this number because these are pretty similar, but we're going to have to make it like 1. So this is going to reach around the same time. This is going to reach around the same time. This is going to reach. So I have to put a slight multiplier in this and even a smaller multiplier on this, so then it matches with the 127. So let's just get it going. And then we'll get, this is a positive number. So we want the hero text scroll to be what we're looking for. So we can say if the hero text scroll is above, we're going to have to change that because that's going to change very quickly. Let's just kind of makeshift put it together here. So if, I'm just trying to think of the easiest way to do this here. Because really, we just, like, for example, we want both colors, so we could get both. So I don't have one for both. Wow. Hero text. Oh, I already have that as a class. L, hero text element. So then we can say hero text element for each text, because we're just manipulating them. Text, style, color equals, and then we can do this, but instead of this, we are adding in this. So then technically we don't need this because the opacity should change every single time we scroll, and it's not. Okay, so here text opacity, okay, that's fine. Let's just quickly console log this, and it should be the same value. Oh, right, okay, that makes sense, because we're not actually changing the opacity of that. What we were doing is setting the opacity for that, so we will just ignore this part, because we already have that in place. No real need to change what we've already set up. So we'll just leave that as is, because that's the opacity. That's totally fine. And then for the color, let's just, for fun, I need this. It should change the color as we scroll. It does not. Text is here, style color equals, and that's the color of it. RGB, okay, that has that. Do I even have this? Oh my gosh, come on. Const query selector. Oh, come on. There we go. I was just using the thing in itself. Now it should give us a different color. There we go. And it's slowly turning to white. Cool. Okay, so we got that in place. Now what we'll need to do is make sure that this can only go up to 223, this can only go up to 153, and this can only go up to 127. So let's do this. If this, what do we have right here? So if this is above 127, we just want to say, actually we need these up here. If it's above 127, we just want to set these as the colors. Oops. So we just want to say this is going to be this. This is going to be this. And this is going to be this. And if it's under, it's slowly going to shift. We'll have to figure out how we get those to multiply, how to increase the blue color, the most increase the green color a little bit, and then keep this as the color that we want to select here. So at a certain point, we should see it turn orangey vibes. But it's all going at the same time. 230, 127. So we'll have to increase this at a much faster rate. Oh yeah, we'll also have to do this. Else, because then we will just do that for all of them. And then we'll do red, green, blue. That's why I didn't change color. Cool. There we go. That's a little bit more. I don't like it how it goes instantly. Oh. Oh, let's just make sure things aren't going laggy. Cool. Slight movement. Cool. I might put... but then you can't see it, though. Because I don't like this. Like how you can see that. That doesn't look too bad, though. It moves very quickly. Like, it transitions very quickly. Why is this white so... What's this white here for? What's this from? What? Excuse me, sir. Oh, it just keeps on. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, because it's always going to continue down. So after a certain point, we can then remove it. Because we could do like a display of none. And it won't give us that problem anymore. Okay, let's do that. So then after a certain point here, we'll then put the hero text section. So we'll say if something happens, we're then, going to say style display none. And we're going to say if this is above, I don't know, 300. Cool. So we'll do this. And it's not going to give me any lag. Or like weirdness. Where's the text? Oh, yeah, right. Else. We actually want to bring it back. What was it before? Hero text. Hero text. And let's just make sure hero text is hero text. Hero text. We had a display of flex. Cool. So now it should actually come back instead of just completely removing it and then not getting it back up. If we scroll back up to the top of the page, we should be able to see it again. Cool. And let's just make sure that's not showing up at like a weird spot. Ah, okay, that's why. Let's just do 4. The number one thing is I don't want it laggy. Okay, that looks fine, and it's not going to have any issues there. There we go, perfect. Yeah, it eases, and I could barely see it, and then it gets more. Cool. Okay, I'm happy with that. I don't like it goes closer to white. You know what I mean? It goes white first. White. See, it's like gray-white. And then it's like a very sharp, distinct transition. I don't like that. Let's just quickly see what this is during the entire time. Console log. That's fine. That's at the very end, just so we're not getting that weirdness. That's all with the same one. And that's about all we need. Okay. So let's check it out here. Okay, let's just clear it up. Let's do 233 instead. because that's what makes it instantly change color. But this way, it's a gradual slope into it. But the transition will be slower, which I don't really mind. Okay. Oh, it's really white. I don't like that whiteness. I want it to go into the color of orange. So let's do this. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Okay, that's not what we want. We could, yeah. And then this one's like less. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So what we can do here, this is gonna be a little tricky. That's maximum. That's not what we're looking for, because then this is all just going to be the exact same. So if this is more than that, we want this to be... We want the first number to be the most. We want the second number. We want that one to be the least. And we don't need that. So at the end of it, we want this. So we get to multiply that more. Let's do this as 127. Because then we get it into the green color faster. And then we got to multiply these in order to get it up to 127. Let's see what 233 divided by 127. Or the other way around. Okay, so like 50%. Okay. So we could do, if this is that. So we could do the red color because we want that to be the most. We could do this times 2. It needs to be more, that makes sense. And then what was the other number? 153. 153. 83, so that would be 17. 17. Let's do. Gosh, that's like really. And blue is 127. Correct. Okay, so we'll just give that a go. Okay, that's better. I might mess with the numbers a little bit, but it definitely beats going to white. There. Oh, I love JavaScript, man. There's a little bit of red, which I don't love. Yeah, not bad. I'm kind of okay with that. 54 minutes. We've actually got a decent amount of stuff done here in this episode. Okay, I'm happy with that. I could even make this so it expands out and increases in... I'm thinking of, for example, that's going to have to make me go all the way here, here. Basically making the letter spacing expand while we go down. And also potentially increase let's do it. I like it. Okay, so let's go like this. That's all done. Don't need that anymore. Kind of looks messy, to be honest. Don't like it. We don't need this anymore. Okay, that's that. I kind of want to keep that a little bit spaced. Keep that a little bit spaced. And then what we'll do, we don't want this as last. That's for the color. And then we'll do the letter spacing as well as the size of this, transform scale. So then on here, we could just get these ones, where is it, right here? Cool, so we're already adding to here. So we could do the text, style, and then letter spacing. I think that's, we'll figure it out, we'll try it. Text style, letter spacing, and then we'll need to do this. And we could do it in pixels using this. Hero text scroll. That's going to be huge, but we'll just make sure things are working accordingly. There we go. Cool, but we're going to make it really shrink down. So we could do like this divided by 50. Let's see how that looks. And it really does matter on mobile because you can go as wide as you want on desktop. Oh. Yeah, you just want it very, very minimal. I'm going to do 70 even. But the last thing I want is when you're scrolling for it to then get placed into the next row down. Like that would look really gross. What do we have here for padding? We could do padding 0 on the sides. Padding. So that's 2, but that's going to be for the next row down. Could we say something like not shift down? CSS do not text wrap. White space, no wrap, notice HTML code, top of the line breaks. Okay, so if we do this, will that work? Oh, nice. Cool. Might do this then. 2, and then like that. So it's always going to be on a separate line. I like it if it's let's see how that looks. No, I like it the other way. So it goes from biggest, smaller. And web creativity is on its own line, which I kind of like. Okay, and let's just close this out. Just make sure it's not buggy, because the last thing I want is like this looks buggy. Oh. Actually, oh, there we go. It's looking pretty decent. Could just be my computer, but that's so many layers. Man, oh man, I must say. Okay. So that's there. Might do something like a little bit more interesting. We could make the font really dark. or the text background really dark instead of yellow. Fun margin bottom, transform, there it is. So we could do a 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 0 pixel, and then like a 5 pixel black. Oh, I kind of like that. But it's really fast, which I like. Like if you're just scrolling down, you're not going to notice it too much. But if you're a person that likes, ooh, I like that. Big fan. Let's change that. And heading text that. Instead of that, we're just going to go black. And that should give us everything we need. And make it a little bit less pronounced. Like 2V max is pretty aggressive. 1V max might be a little bit less aggressive. Ooh, that's nice. Big fan. I might even go like, just so it's not, yeah. Yeah, that looks nice. Cool. And we got a little bit of movement there, which is nice. We got the movement there, which is nice. It goes underneath. Now it's going to also increase the size of it. So let's go here. That's the color. That's that. And then we're also going to increase the size. So text, style, transform equals, and then scale. And then we could just do something like this, just for now. Style transform, cool. Oh, that's not the way we want to go. Whoa. The heck's going on here? Oh, right, because it's starting from 0. Okay, so we need to only increase it from there. So we can find out what it is and then add on top of it, or we could just start from that and then use an if statement to say if it's already bigger than what it's already at, which is always going to be true, then we can increase the size. Because it'll be the same size here, and then after a certain point, like here, then it'll get bigger. But that's like way too big. Let's think about how we can do this here. So we got that. The reason it's doing this is because the scroll is at 0 divided by 70. It's going to be nothing, and that's why we're getting absolutely nothing. So we'll need to get the size of it first. So let's just remove this. I could go down as well, but meh. Do I want to increase the size? Because what is it showing as? Like what is this value? Because then we could just do an if statement. If it's bigger than this, then do this particular function or do this particular thing. Here, what's it showing as? We're looking for the scale. Well, it's going to be 1. Because I haven't changed it. Well, that's simple. So we could say if it's greater than 1, so if this thing here is greater than 1, then we can do the text style transform equals scale into this thing here. But then if it's not else, then we can just put this at 1. Because we're saying if it's greater than 1, then we're putting here. If it's less than 1, just leave it at 1. There we go. It's massive, but so let's do like 150. Let's go to the big screen and see. Oh, JavaScript is so useful, I swear. Why is it doing this? It's doing this because I kind of like that though. It like aligns before going down. Ooh, kind of like that. And is it giving me any sort of, oh, you see that? It's getting a little bit of sideways scroll. So the sideways scroll is probably because of the text being too large, container hidden, hero text contain overflow hidden on here. Overflow hidden is not on this. So that should be fine because that's still the div of that. So then if we also put this in here as well, nothing else should change. Cool. And then I wouldn't get that weird overflow. Cool. 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 I'm not getting it. Cool. Okay, awesome. That's it. Ooh, I don't like that. It goes back to the original. It's so big. I'm gonna make it less. 150. Let's go 200. Not bad. Let's see what it looks like on the big screen here. And we'll also have to check on mobile because it's been a hot minute since I've done that. Okay, that's not bad. Kind of like that, looking like that. And no weird sideways action. No, we're good. That I don't like. How it kind of goes like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So when I scroll, I'm on scroll. Yes, I'm on scroll. Is there a layers, mountains, doesn't matter. Okay. Translate Y. Okay, but that's not X, so it should only do Y. And for X, where's my X? Where's my little... Where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. Okay, right. So if I change this, will it change Y? Because that's currently what it's doing. Because if I move my mouse, it changes the translate X. But if I move the scroll, it then resets this to 0. and then it uses just the y to change the value. Which is causing the issues of what we're seeing right here. I'll have to figure something out for that. Let's see what else looks wonky. Oh, right. We do this. And it goes back to original size. Don't like that. And that's because the translate is all going to be in one. So we'll have to do it in one single swoosh instead of individually changing the translate values, because each time, but we can't because the mouse move is different. But at least we could do the scroll. So we'll have to put this in the same section as this, as well as this. So we'll just put this. So we'll go like this. Doesn't need to technically be in there. Oh. Yeah, that has to be there. That makes sense. So let's do this. And then we'll also do this. I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this here. That goes back to original. I don't want that. I want it to remain. And that's scale, which is this. Oh, right. Okay. So then that's all in one. So we could do this. And then we can remove this. But then that still leaves, that's spacing, that's RGB. That's for totally something different. Okay. Why is it going back? Okay, let's go back a few steps that I've taken here. Let's bring this back here. If I was happy with 200, we'll save that. 1 hour and 13, gotcha. Ooh, I kind of like how it So I move it. It increases. That's holding the scroll, but when I'm not scrolled, it goes back to 0. So each time I create this, it runs, okay. And I'm using this as a scale. Here's section scroll. Okay, so let's just console log this guy, and then we'll make sure, actually we'll just do this actually, because then we know exactly what we're outputting. Okay, and then we'll do this. So at the very top we're at 0, totally makes sense because we have a 0 scroll. 8, 9, 1, so it's going to start increasing. It's going back. Why would it go back? Maybe because of my animation, this. So let's just, oops, let's temporarily disable this. Stays big, that's why. They're conflicting. Okay, cool. So we might have to just replicate this number inside that so we're able to get the same thing. I don't want to create a global variable attached to this, although we could. I don't like global variables, but that would be the easiest way to keep the scale here. Let's just see if it works. Let's do let hero text scale. Oh wait, I could do a callback function submitting that. Oh, okay, let's do that. But it can't be anonymous then, because we have to name the function, which doesn't really matter. But I was thinking, like, let's say we run this mouse move, it then automatically runs this function above, and then we can spit this function name, whatever we turn it into, with the scale that we have, and then whenever we run this, it uses that number, whatever the scale is, as an argument in the function, and then we just use that argument for the scale. And that way we don't have a variable that is globally scoped, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. Cool, so we can just name this mouse move. We could name it, what is this for? Hero animation. We can have that in place. Okay, so we'll have to do this. And that's going to look really wonky for a sec. And then we'll function this E. Oh, we'll do that. Okay. So now, it should still do it. Cool. We'll still be able to run this, but we want to, that's the first argument, E. That's going to be the main event. Where did I put the E? So then if we run this, and we can just do something like let text size equal 0, and then we can just say this is equal to text size, so we could say text size equals 0 for that, and then instead of doing this, we could just do that. But if that is not, we could just say this is equal to 1. And then we can just do this, and then we'll just replace this. Scale. Cool. Okay, so that's fine. So now what we'll do after this, because we have that here, is we will then... do I want to do that? Yes. Event, and then that's gonna not be very useful. I don't know if I can do this, but we'll give it a go. That might look really wonky. Okay, that's fine. No. Because that's going to be the first. Okay, let's just go back a few. I might fiddle around with it with another day. I want to make this anonymous. Bring me back anonymity. Cool. It's not the end of the world. Let's just see how it looks on mobiles and whatnot. And wherever we have this. Do I have any console logs? Okay, I don't need that. I'm happy with where things are, and I have nothing else. Cool. That's working fine. Because if you scroll it, like, you don't even see it. Like, barely. It's only when you're really scrolling very slowly that you see it go, oh, 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 I don't like that. That's for another day. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we're not going to touch on that right now. Let's go back to some displays here. Oh, it's where you click. Okay, so initially people's not going to click somewhere, so that's totally fine because it's going to be generally in the center if I don't click anything. Correct, perfect. So I could make do with a little bit faster opacity change. I could just multiply it by like 1.1, 1.05 and make it 5% faster. That's really easy. Okay, that looks decent. Kind of looks dark. I don't know, with like the night sky here, kind of looks dark. Might try white, but then it's going to clash with this. We'll see. I don't want like a spooky vibe. I want like a more lighthearted vibe. That looks alright. Let's do it with the Pixel 5. Cool. Cool. That looks nice because it's like fading in right into where we have the yellow. It holds here. Oh, it holds on mobile. That's good at least, which is weird. Like how it goes underneath the trees. Cool, that's fine. I hate the fold, but we gotta have it. That looks fine. Man, that looks really good on fold. I don't like how it's so dark. We'll see how it looks a little bit later on. We don't have to keep it. That's good. Okay, and then last one. Good. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to end it off there. It was a little bit over an hour and a half. No, under an hour and a half. Nice. Yeah, I kind of like how it aligns itself and then goes. It's just with this, if I move the mouse, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. But if I go like this, yeah, it looks sweet. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, that's done. I'm going to save. I'm going to upload to GitHub, and I think we're almost ready to start on the next section here. So it's pretty much done. I don't want to do up and down because I don't make it way too confusing. Because, like, for example, you could put a piece of text here. If I wasn't going to move it anywhere else, I could go client Y, and then it'll move up and down, so it'll look like it's like moving my mouse a little bit. That's how a lot of people set up animations where, like, there's eyeballs looking at the mouse all the time. Yeah, I'm gonna call it quits there. I still haven't found a domain, and I'm gonna change it so like you can't drag the SVGs there, but that's not too bad. It's kind of like a whoosh going into it, and then we're gonna start on the first section, and it's gonna be diving deeper into the Earth's core. You're gonna have some dinosaur bones and whatnot. You're gonna have some oil, the liquidity of the front-end web development is going to be CSS, SESS, sort of like that. Just kind of a play on words, a little bit of a journey that the user is going to go on, and then I'm going to have a bunch of my previous portfolio projects that I've already done. Twitter bots. Do I have GitHub linked here? Sweet, sweet. So stuff like, this is GitHub. Basically, every single green dot is me pushing something into my GitHub repository, one of them. I'm going to display this one, the crypto community website. I'm going to display the connection for a trading bot that we built to a exchange, Bybit and BitGet, as like one single project, because they're pretty similar, somewhat different, but basically the idea is exactly the same, except we're just pushing it to a different exchange. And then the third is going to be the Twitter news bot, which automatically tweets 3, 4, 5 tweets a day and summarizes articles that are trending into a fun little tweet. And then I have a couple websites that I'll check in there, but this is going to be a full stack website, not just front end, but I do want to make the front end look very beautiful, make it quick, make it fast, make it optimized. So that's going to be basically the project. And for anyone following along, thank you very much for tuning in. And until next time, take care.